Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Welcome to the Rocket Adrift live stream for March. The COVID live stream. Let's just call it
Oh
what
my
it is.
god. But COVID couldn't
Yeah.
cancel us.
It's also, it was intended to be the celebration of us hitting our $150 Patreon goal.
Yeah.
And we just surpassed that today.
Yeah,
Thank
we're at
you.
200. Thank you, everyone.
Several people have already upped their pledges or joined Patreon. Thank you to all of you.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you missed our Patreon post or our Twitter post, we've been affected by COVID like a lot of people. Toronto has been really clamping down and trying to stop the spread.
Yeah, we're in quarantine. Well, we should be in quarantine right now, but we had Titus come over anyway.
Yeah. So restaurants are shutting down, and me and Lindsay both work in the service industry, and Lindsay's restaurant shut down,
Yeah.
causing her to be unemployed for the time being. And my work is kind of iffy at best.
Well,
but
you're a
still
delivery,
going.
so
Yeah.
it's dependent on having restaurants open to deliver for, so.
Yeah. So again, we appreciate all of your support on Patreon. It's really helped us out. And if you do have any wiggle room in your budget or anything like that, and you feel like you want to pledge, we'd very much appreciate that. But again, no pressure. We know that this is like a tough time financially for everybody.
Yeah.
And we don't want anyone to feel like we're pressuring them into paying. Take care of yourself before you take care of us, please. Like, and make sure that you got what you need to,
Yeah, everyone's, exactly. We got to get through this, and take care of yourself. Everyone
Yeah,
should.
Everyone should.
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone for showing up, though. Like, we're going to try and keep the energy up over here. We're planning to play a weird vaporwave kind of cyberpunky game later on. It's called Broken Reality.
We'll see if Lindsay's broken computer can handle it. But
we're going to do Q&A and answer some of the questions that we got on Twitter and Patreon, and we're going to talk to y'all.
yeah, we'll answer some questions from the chat too. So we'll be looking at that periodically.
And we're going to go over the Patreon goals and tiers as well, just to show you what we've just
We have in
changed over
store,
today.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're really excited to roll these out. I guess we'll do that now.
Drew said that they just updated their pledge right now. And hope
Oh,
that
wow.
works.
Wow.
Thanks.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That really means so much.
It
been-
really does.
yeah.
Every penny counts at this point,
Exactly, yeah.
honestly.
We've just, I think, we don't really get a chance to do live stuff before. We did one, like, really slapdash, last-minute live stream. It was actually to test if we could live stream.
Yeah.
For our setup
Which it turns out
allowed
we
for it.
can, just barely.
We did a bit of a test last time, but we don't get to talk to our audience live, and
No.
I just want to say that you all have been the best.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
We really appreciate all of the support that everyone's given us, and every one of you are so nice and so complimentary and so enthusiastic about the podcast, and we really didn't expect it to be, what it's turned into. It
No.
was just us getting together to, make an excuse for us to take a break from our intense work lives and just have fun and play a tabletop role-playing game. And that's turned into something where people are excited to tune in every other week.
Yeah, that means a lot to me, especially too, that people are interested in the story that we're telling and the world, that obviously our Talzorian created, but we put kind of our spin on. It means a lot to see that connecting with people and people going through a bunch of emotions, finding it funny or finding it scary or intense. So it's just really great to have everyone kind of experiencing this thing with us.
Yeah.
Coach Ninja just said, going to increase my pledge too. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Really appreciate that.
David Johnson just got here and said, "Yes, I didn't miss it. You didn't miss it.
No,
No,
you're
no.
right
we
on
almost
time.
missed it.
Yeah, I
we
know.
didn't miss it either.
We didn't miss it.
Yeah, we've
We're all
been-
here.
We're here.
So everyone's here. Max Fairlam, thanks for showing up. You've
Oh,
been a
thanks
great
for
support.
everything,
Yeah, thanks for
buddy.
everything.
You've been incredible.
If you haven't
you know.
seen Max Fairlam's laser cut of a 3D print or
No,
laser
3D
cut
print.
of our logo, it's
Yeah.
awesome, and
It lights up too. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Titus showed his family that, and they realized, oh wait, maybe what they're doing has.
Potential.
It has some value
People
in
care.
this world. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do you do all
Not
day?
the same
Oh,
story for my family, unfortunately.
So you said it was a podcast. I don't.
Other than Cameron.
Wow.
Of course. Thanks for coming in, Cameron. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
Cameron
Oh
showed
yeah.
Aaron B. Christian Fish.
Christian Fish, thanks so much.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation over
Christian-
Patreon with Christian Fish about refereeing a game and DMing, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the stream. Go into that a little bit. Sort of a DM's corner, a referee's corner.
Let us know if everything's going okay. You know.
Yeah. Feel free, to vent.
Also,
I mean,
if the stream is going okay.
I know I will.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know too if I need to back off or get closer to the mic. I mean, my audio is always the most difficult one.
Yeah, we have to work
He
around
has a-
Titus.
Titus speaks from his chest. He has a booming voice.
Very baritone.
that comes through on every
voice.
single mic in the room.
Yeah, it's true.
It's great. Yeah. Christian Fish says, "Rip Titus,"
Oh.
because he came over to a infested zone. With
Yeah.
the two of us.
What? You think we're infected? Like,
Oh, infected. Yeah, there is also cockroaches though.
oh
it
yeah,
is
no,
infested.
infested. Well, we've always been an infested zone.
Yeah, I think
Let's
I
not
meant to
kid
say
ourselves.
infected.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna wait for a little bit more to talk about Patreon and do the Q&A, but so more people
Yeah,
maybe
okay,
will roll
for
in.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like people are rolling in. You never
Cool.
know with these things.
Yeah,
So it's great
been a
that
while.
people are
yeah.
showing up.
Yeah.
Drew says Titus has the best voice,
Oh, thanks.
and I assume they didn't mean that we have
We
terrible
have
voices.
terrible voices. Yeah.
It's not
I've been-
always a competition.
You know what?
Yeah.
I've been complimented on my voice, so
What I appreciate about our podcast is like sometimes you listen to podcasts and you can't. There's like two guys on it that
Yeah.
you can't really tell apart, but you can definitely tell the difference between me and Patrick. So
That is a good thing.
yeah.
People were talking about Rip spoiler. What is this? What is the spoiler? Is it about the recent episode? Did everyone just listen to episode 11?
Yeah.
we won't give it away on
Ooh,
stream.
Yeah, we're not
We
gonna
won't talk about it
we
too
won't-
much on stream.
We
Yeah.
won't talk about that too much, but
Because I hope y'all liked that one. It was real fun to edit. I had a lot of fun with the music and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, it was an intense one to run too. There was a lot of things to balance, but hopefully it came through, and it's getting you excited about the upcoming chapters of Dark Future Dice.
Max Fairlam says, "Happy to validate you for you to your family." And then Drew says, "You guys have great voices too. Titus just be getting me."
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, hope you're gonna have a good time on this stream.
Yeah. Hopefully,
Hopefully,
we won't
the
all
game
die
works
of
okay.
COVID or
Yeah.
something in the next month. Like,
Yeah.
If you guys aren't aware, we are putting out 2 episodes where I GM for a bit for Teenagers from Outer Space. That's like our way of taking a little break from the main campaign and giving Titus some time to catch up on the story or come up with some new ideas or whatever. Just giving him a bit of a break.
yeah.
And we've already recorded those, and oh my God, what a stressful time it was GMing. I won't give too much away, but everything that we talked about in Dark Future Dissection with Titus talking about how, the players don't always do exactly what you think they will. That rings true, and for some reason I thought that wouldn't really happen to me, but it.
You thought we would play really nice because
I was like, they're gonna
No,
treat me well.
I I feel like we had a fair advantage on you where we knew like how to sabotage your plans, kind of, because we just played with you for so often. So
Yeah.
like I was actively trying to sabotage everyone's
Oh,
plans.
that's good. It's good to know. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
My character was just basically the most unhelpful like person on the team.
Yeah, we're excited for you guys to listen to that. I had a lot of fun being a player for the first time in a long time, especially on a podcast. I
Yeah.
mean, we had played a couple games with some friends from Dames Make Games and that kind of thing, and I was like, oh, it's great. It's great to be in that seat.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just so if you aren't aware, Dames Making Games is a not-for-profit organization based here in Toronto, and it's basically a safe space for women in gaming, and it encompasses trans and cisgendered women, and also like men can join as members as allies, and yeah, they just have a lot of like cool kind of open gaming nights where you can get together with a bunch of other women and other people and play tabletop games, and we joined a couple of those sessions. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
And we met Jillian Orbwitch on Twitter,
Yeah.
who has her podcast Many Realms, and made our first real life podcast friends. So that was really great.
I know.
Yeah.
We're like really antisocial. I don't know if you pick up on that, like
We're
from our
trying our
voices.
best,
We're
yeah.
trying our best, but yeah, we don't get out much. So when we went to
Well,
the
I mean,
open gaming night, we were like, oh, I don't know.
this whole quarantine thing happened, and I'm like, it's
Oh,
not that
finally.
different from what
Yeah.
I got going on right now.
Social distancing. Yeah, duh. I mean, I'd love to live life like that.
No, it has not been fun, but
No.
yeah.
We have two NPCs meeting in the chat right now for the first time.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
Breaking news.
Oh my
And
god.
there to cover it is Claire's Blurs.
Oh my god, Claire.
Blurs.
Code Shinja is actually Claire's Blurs. Claire's Blurs.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
nice.
the best.
So it's right now. It's a meeting of Claire's Blurs and Dr. Fairlum.
Oh. They've been integral to this book.
Yeah.
And some really fun characters.
Yeah, I love Claire's Blurs, the character. It's like it was really fun to do that scene where we're just like sparring them.
Yeah.
Just
just like two equally powerful minds
It's a real
mentally
Minds.
sparring.
it's a real battle of wits.
Battle
you
of the
know?
DP
wits.
and Claire's Blurs, the two greatest
Yeah.
intellects in the Dark Future Dice
Mhm.
universe. Just hashing it out
Uh-huh.
live
In the hot seat.
Yeah.
Hot seat, hot
In
seat,
the
hot
Yeah,
seat.
it's like a modern symposium, really.
Thanks, Claire's Blurs, for all your support. It's been
Yeah.
so it's cool to see you here live in chat.
Definitely. Oh my God, it's great. One thing that's super cool about doing this is that it is a bit of a kind of an insular and lonely experience making the podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of has to be for what we do. We are now that we've reached our goal. We're going to be trying a live stream one shot where we'll be playing a game with an audience. So that'll be interesting. But in order, I guess, to get that kind of Dark Future Dice vibe, we really have to kind of set up like a nice little safe place where we can fool around here and get those characters going. But it is, it is nice to be able to interact with an audience and to have an audience in the first place. So this is super cool.
Yeah. Claire's Blur says they're sad. She's sad that they couldn't meet in game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron B says, been loving book 2. By the way, I love the podcast and look forward to each new episode. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Like, we get tweets coming at us and reviews and stuff like that where people just say like, oh, it helps them on their commute,
Yeah.
or they listen to it at work or
It's
whatever.
perfect.
And that's great because like that's exactly what I love about podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts for my work, and having something on in the background or something to laugh at while I'm doing a delivery or something like that is like it really makes the day go by faster. Or it's like sometimes it's like I'm not even at work because I'm
Yeah.
just enjoying an adventure or something like that. So the fact that we're that too to somebody else is great.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite comments are just, when people talk about getting to a moment in the podcast and not being able to control their laughter
Yeah.
when they were in a situation where, they weren't supposed to be laughing,
Embarrassing.
like at
yeah.
work or in their commute. Just to know that we made someone crack up and brought a little joy to their day it just warms my heart, to be honest. It's because again, there's a lot of podcasts and things that are that for me, and I know how important that is and how it makes your day just get along.
So fan theory by Max Verlam, and this could screw us, Titus, because
Oh no.
yeah, I mean it is. It's like it could be a Westworld situation where they had to rewrite the spoiler or the twist at the end of Westworld or something.
Well, I've
never watched the
I've
show.
written down the answers in an envelope, and I'm not allowed to change them. So
good.
even if someone guesses them,
You mailed them to
I'm-
a secure
Mail them to a secure location.
secure location.
Yeah.
So Max Verlam says fan theory. Dr. Pupper is the doll maker.
ooh,
Damn.
No.
Has Dr. Popper been playing us all from the inside of
you never,
a ragtag organization?
Well, I really can't comment on that.
Self-sabotage your own company too, in a
What's
very
in the letter,
convoluted
you know?
way.
Do you guys ever ask yourselves what's in that letter that DP keeps so close to him? It's
It
just
just-
says
it just-
it's just 3 words.
Dog is
I doll maker.
I doll maker.
That's as far as that goes.
I feel like everyone would feel kind of cheated if I was, it just was revealed. Yeah, it was the broken down Cyberdog the whole time. Somehow. He just fetched the parts he needed. And I'm so worried about that, though, because sometimes that, someone's going to guess it and then put it on Twitter, and then you guys are going to figure it out. But I maybe less worried about it and maybe sort of hopeful that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And we'll just role play it like, hey, I
hey,
just had an epiphany.
I just had an epiphany.
I just was just thinking maybe.
David Johnson says that part in episode 1 where DP couldn't decide whether to sit or stand still makes me laugh uncontrollably. The very first episode, because I think I could barely remember all the way back.
Oh, I
my
don't know.
God.
Or is it the part where you kept
Oh, I think
getting
it's-
up and going under the car?
Oh yeah, that part was. There's a lot of times where DP can't decide
Yeah, can decide what he's
what
doing.
to do with his body, which is accurate to me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. So, Chip is still a good boy. That is true.
Yeah. Chip pulled through, I think.
He made it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, despite what Barb might think, I think
Barb
we all
still
love
doesn't
Chip.
like him. It doesn't matter. Barb doesn't trust him. He's a construct of petrochem, so I just on point don't trust.
Mm.
Was that your
Chip.
reasoning for when you were just like,
It
I'm gonna
wasn't,
decide that
but
Barb
it's-
hates Chip?
It wasn't, but I just came up with that
Okay.
because I thought that would make more
could've
sense,
said yes,
other
and
than
then-
me just not liking that drawing.
That is sometimes part of role playing where you make a decision and then you're just like, why did I need
Why
to
did I even?
justify that in the future.
Yeah.
I definitely think that was kind of the first meat sale situation where I was, I had a joke that I wanted to do where I introduced myself
And then you just went too far with it.
and it ruined, we all know it ruined the sale.
It ruined the sale.
Then I had to kind of think, how do I justify this in my head? Why did DP do this?
It's really weird, though, because if you go back and you look at my notes for that first chapter of book 2, it did say DP tries to sell some meat. Basically, that's the episode.
No.
No, nothing
Are you
else
kidding
needs to
me?
happen.
No,
Yeah.
you're fucking with me.
Absolutely.
DP sells some meat.
That's how we're gonna open this
Yeah.
this new campaign up or new book, whatever we call it. like why do we go with the books and the chapters? I don't
We might
really
have to
know.
change that. It's confusing me sometimes.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it was
Oh.
because we did character creation, and that was technically episode 1. So then
Right.
we're like, well, now we can't call the next episode episode 1.
Hmm.
That's a good thing.
Oh.
Right there.
That kind of moment though is a great example though of something kind of the thing that happened out of that I really appreciated was that like a character who like Jasper Christmas suddenly became a person that you kind of despised. And from a narrative standpoint, that was something that I could use, you know,
Right.
Because I guess one of my biggest things, and I talked about this in the dissection from the first book, was that I felt like I never got a character that really got under your skin and upset you guys.
Yeah.
You guys kind of just ignored Dr. Caius for most of it, and then he showed up at
Right.
the end as a disembodied voice and never quite made like a final stand after you sent
No.
an elevator full of explosives up there. But
Oh my god, that was so genius, though. You have to admit that was so genius.
yeah, it was pretty good.
I think it was better than just putting them in the elevator, which
Yeah.
is my plan. Send it
But
up there.
but with Jasper Christmas, I finally had a character that really really you were antagonistic towards and really upset you, and I just thought, okay, well, I'll keep that in my pocket.
You know why? Because of the southernness of it. That's really what gets
come
Pat.
on.
No, it's not that. It was just the fact. Is that thing where I had to justify a little bit, where I was just like, DP failed big time, and I don't know that DP is big enough to take that failure in like.
Be like, that one's on me, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no.
Take it on himself and be like, yeah, I fucked up. I think
Yeah,
he can
dude.
admit that at times, but at the same time, he also has to have a fall guy. And
Okay.
that was just Jasper.
That
I
guy
hate
was
that
totally
guy.
unreasonable.
He really wasn't.
We have some reminiscing for book 1. I hope we're not spoiling too much. Let us know if you don't want us to talk about book 1 too much, but
Yeah,
we kind of assume that most people have gotten through that already, but maybe some people are fairly new to the podcast. But yeah, book 1 was a lot of fun. I had a great time doing that. They're reminiscing about Barb throwing the walkie-talkie over the ledge immediately.
Yeah.
We were talking about that, how that was kind of the moment where we realized, I think this podcast is going to be good, because
Really?
it was just a really real funny moment.
Yeah, it was like a real like out of nowhere moment from Lindsay, and just like the
I just had to make a
consequences
strong
and, like,
decision at some point.
Yeah, it was that kind of strong role-playing decision that that as a referee, you really kind of have to appreciate when somebody does something that is strategically terrible for them, but like makes perfect sense in character. So I knew that, yeah, it was good to see people taking, you guys making those kind of decisions that may hurt you but make the story interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was really funny to see just how Alloy Knight came together. And I guess, I said
Yeah, we
there
have
was
some
no character from book 1 that got under your skin, but I think that Barb has never really liked Alloy Knight, and that's
No.
yeah.
We have some reminiscing about Alloy Knight here too. Way back in episode 2 when AK called DP on the radio and DP immediately hung up. It just absolutely killed me. And and then Quizblur says that she loves it when they're on the phone with Alloy.
Yeah, it's really fun to do that.
I think like one of the things that, because we're all fans of the show, like Adventure Zone and stuff like that, and their brand of humor is hilarious and we love it. I think like when we try and think like what sets us apart a little bit, I think part of it is just like the awkwardness of the conversations, and kind of making these conversations kind of fall apart and be awkward and weird, and the fact that we can't like ever have a proper goodbye. Like
No.
I think those
Yeah.
are the kind of humor that we bring to the table, I guess.
Our own social inadequacies brought to life in a cyberpunk world.
Yeah.
Where it becomes funny because you have to imagine mob bosses and
Yeah, exactly.
hitmen having these conversations.
Yeah. Totally.
I love that moment back in book 1 too, where like DP goes to the casino or we both go to the casino, and then DP has to get away somehow, but the security guard sees him already, and so he has to convince the security guard that he's just going for a jog. And he's just like, "Don't mind me, over here, just running away."
The whole you guys going to the casino
It
part
was so weird.
was one of the fine examples that has happened several times of you guys confusing the shit out
Yeah.
of me.
Like and then I had to take Ruby back to find an escape through the bathroom, but there was just no window.
There's no windows in a casino.
So I'm just like, okay, I guess I draw
so
my
you
weapon.
walk in, walk out, and everyone's just not
Just
sure what
staring
to
at
do.
me.
Yeah. I just have to be fair. If you guys can legitimately confuse me, then I feel like everyone I'm controlling is also confused.
Yeah.
Patreon level $400. Titus makes your voicemail message. That was a pure meta goal. That I listened to it like 3 times. Was what was that guy's name? I'm not sure. I might have missed something earlier.
Oh man, we had some ideas for like a.
I think it was it was Johnny Silver.
Johnny
it was
Bronzefinger.
Johnny Bronzefinger.
I
Yeah.
didn't actually make that up. Lindsay did. I had to look it up in order to use that character. It was a throwaway joke when we were talking about what would be
Johnny
on the,
Silverhand. Yeah.
Yeah, what would be on the posters on the wall of your little sister? And I was like, I don't think it would be like someone famous. It'd be kind of like an Eastern European knockoff. And you said,
Well,
Johnny,
like a Johnny
Bronzefinger. I
Bronzefinger.
thought that was great, and I wanted to bring that into the world, to have Johnny Bronzefinger, the knockoff Johnny Silverhand, be a real thing.
I had a lot of fun editing that section and putting it. I just made like the worst, most lazy rock guitar in the
Riff.
background.
Yeah.
It's just like so meandering and garbage, and I just thought like that really came together in a great way where you're like talking, you're like answering my questions as I'm asking.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, so he's like, no, not actually.
I know. So dumb.
Yeah.
So it's live now. You're answering my questions live.
Yeah.
No, just this section.
Just this section is pre-recorded for your questions.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Oh man, yeah. Christian Fish says social awkwardness makes for real moments that not enough people recognize in their different mediums.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have to agree.
That's part of our, I think.
Part of our charm.
I guess it also just like stuff that we want to put in other stuff. like
Yeah.
our game.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like our brand at this point. It's like if it's not in what we're doing, then we're not in what we're doing, you know?
Yeah. For sure. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like it's a real thing that a lot of people go through that isn't reflected in media so much, or it's just the one awkward character.
Yeah.
It does that, and in kind of an annoying way, in like a Jurassic World way, where you have
Oh my
one,
God.
you just have one character that's the awkward. But
Fish out of water.
Everybody
yeah.
says something awkward sometimes.
I know,
Like,
and but then and I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
just
know.
like it needs to be addressed more. I feel like.
Yeah, and it's great to see characters that you wouldn't you are supposed to be cool and collected, have awkward moments, or not know what to say next, or be thrown off by weird questions. So
yeah, I love it.
yeah,
Code Claire's Blur says the humor is great to me since you guys sound like you're genuinely having fun and not forcing any jokes. And that
no.
time when I tried to introduce myself at the episode 1 of book 2 is one of the only times I tried to force a joke, and that's how it went.
I think
Yeah, we were like, no.
I don't, Lindsay. You're probably really good about not forcing jokes, but me and Patrick are trying to force jokes quite a bit. And what might
Are
be
you?
funny is us failing at it.
I think that's it. I think it's like if there's any time when we're trying to tell a stupid joke, it comes off as us trying to tell a stupid joke.
And then we're just groaning at each
Yeah.
other. It's like, what are you doing?
But absolutely, this has been so much fun. I mean, it's terrifying for me to run a game. That's just run any game. It's always been kind of scary, but to do it and know that it's going out and people will be listening to it, if I think about it too much, it can be, very scary. But we always have, it's scary at the beginning before we start recording, and it's scary at the end when I think, oh God, what happened? But while we're doing it, I'm having just the time of my life, running the game and playing Cyberpunk with you guys. It's so much fun to have to think on your feet, to have to see how these things play out because of characters' actions, and to just have those unexpected, hilarious moments crop up and really get me. That's I just love doing this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. The additional Claire's Blur says the additional effort in the voice messages are really so awesome for podcast listening. Thank you. I really like putting those little extra touches in there. That's fun for me.
Pat has always done a great job of editing the podcast and adding in music, but I feel like your game just came up another level in book 2 in terms of adding sound effects and just the editing and the sort of like effects that you put on voices.
Because with the first book, we were still like doing a lot of YouTube editing where I'd put in I'd a time when characters come up and I'd put their portraits there, and that just was so much work for not a lot of payoff because it's an audio medium and most people just listen to it on podcast services. So we stopped doing that, and it just gave me more time to put in the edits. And
I think also, I'm not sure, but maybe the Roll20 footage is maybe a better experience than just watching the YouTube with the, I guess not just, it's not a better audio experience because it's the unedited.
Yeah, there's lots of
kind of audio
goof ups in there.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are fun, but some of them are just
there's a lot
boring.
There's a lot of me asking you guys to vamp while I look up a rule or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Max Fairlam saying, agreed, everything surrounding the podcast, music, logos, art are insanely good, professional level good. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
It's those kinds of things that some people really don't notice. We all went to college for illustration, and we try and put a lot of work in making all the...
We made this video
all the branding
background and
Yeah, I done drew that. And
animated it.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and we have, I mean, I think it helps for us to get into the game, too, to have visual aids. It definitely helps me write the game to kind of draw out what I imagine the characters to look like, or to kind of make a layout of whatever scene I'm in, going like a location for understanding it. I'm just kind of a visual person like that. So
yeah.
It's really fun to do that and to see the kind of different elements come together and make this cool, awkward cyberpunk world.
So when do you guys want to do some Patreon? We can talk about the Patreon next. And
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Q&A after that?
Yeah, that'd be really... Let's talk about the Patreon, and then we'll go more in depth into the Q&A.
So Rachel's in the chat, too.
Oh, Rachel.
Hey,
Rachel is someone... who's newly got into
recently,
or has newly reached out to us anyway, and we love your tweets, and we're so glad you're enjoying the podcast.
Yeah.
So thanks so much.
She says the audio edits and the artwork are also good. You guys have done an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that means a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we should hop over to Patreon. We'll show some of the goals
and the tiers.
We may have to add the $400 tier that Titus.
We were thinking 420. What, 421?
Yeah, like
and
a dumb weed joke,
yeah,
I guess.
essentially.
Maybe that's not taking it seriously.
Yeah, we wanted people to know that we took this seriously. A dumb weed joke, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Do you remember which one it is?
Okay, here we are. Yeah, so basically, why don't we go through this?
Yeah, so we had some tiers before, but we weren't really offering much because we didn't have
really
enough
time
people to justify
and
it. Yeah,
not a lot of people were supporting, so we just thought if you want to support, you're supporting, and that's
it.
Contributing to everything getting made, and we thank you for that. But
Yeah.
we
We
wanted
were
to
also
add some
kind
rewards.
of in a weird place where we had been doing like an animated show and that had fallen off, and we were kind of in between making a game and we were also doing this podcast, but kind of more as a fun thing. So we weren't sure what people would want anyway, or what we could offer. But then as people started to get more into the podcast, we kind of were thinking about
That.
how we could do that. And we came up with a few things and reached out to you guys to see what you would
like,
be interested in, and also had a big talk about what we thought would be possible. So we'll go through the tiers, I guess.
So the $1 one is basically a thank you.
Yeah, it's like we super appreciate anyone that can, give us any level of support, and that's what $1 is all about. Really, it's just a big thank you from us to you,
And
because
then
it means so much to be able to get help making this.
yeah. And then the second tier is early access. So $2 a month, you get a day early release of each podcast episode on Patreon.
using the RSS feed, which is
Yeah.
kind of complicated, but if you become a Patreon, there is a link to a article that Patreon put up telling you how to get the RSS feed into your podcast app.
Yeah.
And if you have any problems, you can message us and we'll
talk you
through
that
it.
and talk you through it. And-
It's kind of a pain to set up, but once you have it set up, I understand that
It's really easy.
It works just like any other
I have it-
Patreon.
I have it set up through
podcast
iTunes.
thing.
I have it set up through iTunes, and it works. It works.
Yeah,
fine.
it should work with any of your podcatchers.
And number $5 is really fun. It's kind of we were having a lot of fun getting you guys to influence the game, and we thought that it would be really fun to sort of do a monthly voting thing on certain elements of the upcoming episodes, like plot points or names of locations and what type of locations. We're going to think of a bunch of different ones and put up a poll through our Patreon. And if you're at a $5 or more tier, then you can vote on that, and and you'll see that come to fruition in the game. And I should mention that, of course, any of the like higher tiers include the lower tier stuff as well.
Yes. And then our next one up is 10 a month for music and art. So we will be putting up tracks from the Dark Future Dice podcast and our games available to download on Patreon, as well as digital wallpapers designed probably by me and Titus, mainly.
Yeah. Patrick has been making some just amazing music for the podcast and for some of the video game stuff that we've been working on, and we want to be able to share that. And we've also decided to kind of put that thing that we were talking about, those visual elements, together into some cool kind of desktop wallpapers or wallpapers for your phone and that kind of thing, if you were interested in that. And yeah, me and Lindsay will be working on that together. It's something that we kind of decided on this, and we'll be rolling it out as the month goes on.
I just put up 2 tracks today, and I'll be putting up another one soon. So there's the latest song that appeared in episode 11, and then there is the theme song for the whole show is up, and I'll put up another one soon as well. So I'll be putting those up, trying to be pretty regular about that. But and if you do, just a FYI, if you do have your RSS feed and you are at the $5 tier, they should come through your RSS feed too, the songs.
Yeah. $20 is you get an NPC with a custom portrait. We've been kind of putting some of our fans into the game, and we want to continue doing that. So, I pick a lot of names from people that interact with us, either through Patreon or Twitter. This one's a little special, though, because you'll be able to kind of pick your hair type, your eye color, your cybernetics, your ethnicity, and your gender, and obviously your name. And I'll make a character portrait for you, and your character will make an appearance in the podcast.
That one's cool. And then the last one is our $50 a month. Become a Patreon producer. You get a shout out in all of our episodes of Dark Future Dice.
Yeah, as a Patreon producer, and our everlasting thanks.
Isn't there one more?
There
Is
is
there
one
more? There's
more.
one
The
big
$200
bonus one.
Design a Corporation. With this one, you get to choose a name. I said within reason. You just can't. You know,
I don't know if
obviously-
reason's still on the table at this point for $200 a month, but
yeah. You can pick what industry the corp is involved in, and we will make a jingle for your corporation that we will play in the game.
one-time benefit though.
Yeah,
so.
one corporation
per
in that.
person. Yeah.
Obviously, you'll also be a Patreon producer, and we may call you our corporate overlord.
Lord. Well, you guys can help
want.
populate.
If
We
you don't
can-
want us to call you that, then that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
But
fine
if
too,
If you're
but-
down with it, we'll do it.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in seeing what will populate our world in terms of the corporate landscape.
I'm hoping someone goes into this just so I can hear Patrick write a
Write a
really
jingle.
fun jingle. For,
Yeah. Max Fairlam says went from $1 to $10 a day. Used to spend that money in audiobooks anyways. Thanks so
Nice.
much, Max.
Yeah,
thank
We
you.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, that
we
means
do
so much to
appreciate
us.
people coming in, upping their pledges, and
Christian Fish upped his pledge today.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And we really appreciate that. We're not sure. I don't know
We don't need to share
to
the
say
details,
the
but
amounts or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you're cool with us saying it, we will. And that's. But we thank you so much,
Yeah.
all of you, for upping your pledge or just pledging in general.
mm-hmm.
and also thanks for being with us while we kind of went through and talked about the fun kind of stuff for Patreon. Oh yeah, the goals.
Yeah,
oh,
the
right.
goals.
I'm
Can't
forgetting
forget those
And the goals.
The most exciting part.
Yeah, if I could just figure out how to get there.
I think you could just go to our main page, and they'll be there. Hopefully, I don't know. Patreon changed a bunch of stuff around recently. And
I'm seeing. Okay, so we got Christian Fish in the chat saying,
Public.
"Eyeing that $200 soon."
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait.
pressure.
Okay,
If you wanna
okay.
do
Yeah.
it, we are gonna we'll make a cool ass jingle, and a weird ass company. I mean, it's up to you how weird it is, I guess. Within reason. I think we put within reason in brackets.
yeah,
sure.
I know that's true.
Okay.
How do you get to goals now?
This is
Then Claire's Blair says, "When will a totally legitimate business be a jingle? Would love to."
Oh,
see
man,
TLB
we-
LTD try marketing. That sounds great, and maybe that could be another goal or something that we can do at some point.
we might just have to do that for funsies because
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
it would complete everything with the business card and. Okay.
yeah,
uh,
Patreon.
Great,
So
great.
then we also got Dr. Satan RX. I think I'm saying your name right. How much money to make the podcast weekly? We get this question a lot.
A lot,
and,
yeah.
Unfortunately, it's like quite a bit. We are so busy with our part-time jobs. I mean, well, we were really busy with our part-time jobs. I'm still very busy, and we're also working on a game right now, and that is a pretty intense process. So it's really like it would take, honestly, us to be able to, I think, quit our jobs, to be able to even
yeah.
try and get that. And with Titus having to write all the campaign and stuff like that, it's tricky. So I mean, it's really hard to put a dollar amount on that right now, but I mean, we'd love to do it, but it is, we're really
Here we
far off
go.
of that.
Here, they're just down.
They are?
There, goals. They're not in like a whole list.
Okay,
I mean, they're
goals.
seeing
View all. Here we
Yeah.
are.
behind the scenes right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
that's a great little thing. Well, we'll just talk about it,
Yeah.
I guess.
yeah.
So we smashed 75.
Yeah, we
Smash
certainly
75.
We got up
Smash
to
150.
150 recently, and
Yeah.
then right now we're at 227. That just happened today. So again,
Jeez,
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
we
everyone.
are so appreciative of all of your support. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we smashed that 200 goal. The one-shot live stream. So we'll be looking into what kind of tabletop games we could play for that, and
Yeah.
maybe a date.
For sure.
Not sure now, considering the circumstances, but
No,
hopefully
we will,
sometime soon.
we're talking just in terms of that.
Yeah.
If we have to, we can start recording audio remotely
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
So
in
we
case-
will be continuing the podcast through these tough,
Quarantine
challenging
times. Yeah.
as they call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will be doing a one shot, through this live stream kind of thing where we will play a game. It won't be part of the series, but
No.
we will
No.
we'll just do a one-off thing, have a lot of fun, and try to do some audience interaction
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Undecided on what game it should be, so
We-
if
we
there's
talked
any
earlier-
suggestions,
We
you know,
talked
we'll
earlier
take them.
about doing the Carly Rae Jepsen one
Yeah.
shot maybe or something. There's
Yeah.
also Bigfoot Stole My Car. I heard that like I
Bigfoot
heard that
Stole
one being
My
played, and that
Car.
one's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll try one of those out on For Size, and
Mm-hmm.
we had actually, because of the COVID whole thing, we did talk beforehand, and we said, well, this is going to be a stream, but we had originally planned for the stream to be a lot bigger and a lot more
Yeah.
stuff happening, and we had to kind of scale down. So we wanted to do a new one anyways, and the fact that we just hit that goal is a great excuse. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll be doing
We'll do
more,
it that then.
more of this, and then actually playing a tabletop game.
Yeah.
which would be really fun.
Mm-hmm. And at 300, and I guess we should mention with these goals too is that we're trying to make as many of these things available to everyone.
Yeah.
So when you kind of give support, you're supporting the whole podcast and,
Yeah.
and helping other people who
Reach
maybe
it.
couldn't support get more of an experience out of it.
Yeah.
So at $300, we're going to be implementing the Discord channel. We wanted to kind of put that one a little bit higher just to make sure that there would be enough interest in it. And
Yeah,
enough
and people there. Yeah.
kind of participating in it. Some of the ideas that we had for possible kind of Discord threads is kind of like a place where you can ask me about GMing or reffing, running a game, and we can have kind of public threads there to be able to talk about that experience and
Maybe we
share
can-
your experiences.
We can have a fan theory.
Yeah,
theory
fan
one would
theory
be-
thread.
would be
That would
great,
be
yeah.
cool.
Lindsay
And a
won't
fan
look
art
at.
thread.
That would be fantastic if you guys couldn't see it, and then
Yeah.
you guys can send in your fan theories about whatever current mystery.
I'm excited about the prospect of fan art. A fan art.
Yeah, and we'll also have a better way of sort of showing off the fan art that is created for the show,
Yeah.
and other fun Discord things, depending on what you guys are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we have 500.
That 500, there's been a lot of talk where people were kind of like wanting to see the behind the scenes of how the game was put together. And so 500 is like a campaign bundle with the character sheets, the maps, the tokens, all the little kind of extra stuff that is generated when we make the game that you guys can use for your own games as well. It's kind of, you can put it right into Roll20 or print it out and use it.
Would it be like one file format, or would it be just kind of trickled out over time?
I think that it would probably be trickled out over time, but collected in one place where it can all be downloaded together.
Yeah. Sure.
Because as we continue to play, more stuff will be generated. So it's the only thing that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So then we have 1,000,
Yeah.
where we'll be committing to a once a month live stream.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what we'll be doing all the time on those. It could be something like this. Where
It
we're
could
just
be
playing
a
game.
yeah.
It
Could be a let's play. Or
Could be
even.
maybe another one shot or something like that, or whatever. We'll have to see when we get there. But it might be nice to have this be a monthly thing.
For sure. And our final goal is for $2,020.
2020.
2020. And with that one, we will create a Dark Future Dice album where we'll collect all of the music from Dark Future Dice. And we'll make it available on YouTube, but for people in the $10 tier, we'll also make a downloadable version with album art We'll also sort of up the game on that campaign bundle and make a complete PDF format. And me and Lindsay will do some additional artwork, and I'll do some additional writing to kind of make it more of a complete, almost
Cohesive experience, yeah.
adventure
like a playable,
book.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like a playable book, or like a source book for the locations and the characters. And we'll be doing another celebratory live stream. This one would be a big one, I think, if we got to that amount.
It would have to be a lot longer, and you know, we would definitely
More
play
stuff.
some tabletop games. And
Maybe
stuff like that.
even Cyberpunk 2077.
We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a huge goal to hit for us.
Yeah.
2020 would be amazing. Yeah. And okay, so we got a couple of questions here.
Yeah, we'll go maybe
You
into
go
the
right into the Q&A.
into the Q&A. And
I'll start
thanks
with
thanks
some-
for everyone for for sticking through that Patreon
Yeah.
explanation.
I'm gonna start with the stuff over here first because we have some stuff pertaining to the Patreon.
Okay, yeah.
So the first one would you be willing to? This is from Dr. Satan RX, and would you guys be willing to do a video of actually playing so we can see some of your facial reactions to these dice rolls?
That would take a lot of setup.
Mm.
And
A
also,
lot of
Titus is not crazy about it
Yeah.
being on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we should take more more pictures of us, like recording, so we can
Yeah,
like,
maybe even just for
so we
social.
can show the setup basically
Yeah.
because it's kind of
It's
a crazy. We
pretty
play it in me and Lindsay's
rickety.
living room, and
Yeah.
it is like a crazy
Slapdash kind
setup.
of. Yeah.
So it is kind of hard to get us all on video because we're spread out all over the living room.
It's hard to see our facial reactions too. We have to kind of go off of each other's eyebrows because there's just big mics right in front of our mouths the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
I
Do a lot
guess
of eyebrow reading.
I might consider it for like a live thing maybe at one point or something. I mean, but that even gets more complicated. But
Yeah, I think it would have to be something where we were doing it for the video performance, just because we do have to make these kind of like concessions in
Yeah, we have
order
to
to capture the
yeah.
level of audio that we like to have for the podcast.
Yeah.
If that makes sense at all. But it would be fun to do.
Yeah,
it would be
we
fun to
did-
see.
we would
It'd be
need a
horrifying
setup.
because I don't want to. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, and maybe we could have a dice cam too to show.
Dice kit. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Pulling out the big guns
Yeah.
on that one.
We would definitely consider it, but as we kind of mentioned, it would have to be like a fun thing and not something that we could conceivably do while we're running the kind of podcast.
Regular game. Yeah.
So then we have another question by Aaron B. If you reach 1,000, may I suggest a playthrough of Valhalla?
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
a cyberpunk bartending game, visual novel, and
Oh
it's not too
boy,
demanding
Yeah.
on your
it's not going to take a lot of convincing to get
For
us
us,
to play
yeah,
through
we love
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Yeah.
Everybody here is a pretty big Valhalla fan.
Yeah.
We love that game.
We
so-
considered playing it tonight, but I guess we were just thinking we might
Try to cut
something
down.
more casual, but like
Yeah.
you know, Valhalla would be fun. We could all
Mm-hmm.
we did a thing where when we were researching for our own game, we played a lot of visual novels, and we were like, let's read the
Read
parts.
through. Yeah,
Yeah.
we would come up with these dumb voices for the characters.
I don't know.
It
I
might be
feel
fun
like
to do that.
yeah. I had a couple voices that were really upsetting. To Pat
Oh
and
my
Lindsay, so
god. Oh.
I think it would be super fun to do. If
That's
you
a
guys,
great
if that's something
idea.
you guys are interested in,
Yeah.
yeah, we would certainly consider playing through Valhalla and some other like maybe kind of more pixely cyberpunk games.
For sure.
And then there's just a couple of comments that I wanted to shout out. Let's see here. We're getting, this is really cool because we're having like a chat now that's even, there's so much happening that it's
You
kinda hard
can't
to
follow
read.
it, and
It's not
that
going
never
super fast,
happens.
but like yeah, we usually don't have a lot of people in these things. So
We're sad.
Tyler Battle says, speaking of games,
Oh, Tyler! Hey,
Tyler.
how's it going, man?
says, speaking of games, I enjoyed Order a Pizza. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so much
Thank
for
you.
playing.
Thanks, dude.
That's our little NaNoRenO game we
Yeah.
made for a
Last year's
game jam
NaNoRenO,
last
yeah.
year. literally just last year. Like
Yeah,
it's the
this
anniversary.
yeah, this is the anniversary of our release of Order a Pizza.
And yeah, we made it to test out our ability to make a game, and it did way better than we thought it would. It's
Yeah.
not a runaway success or anything.
No,
that's for sure, but it
got some attention. Yeah,
It got a
wrote
lot of
about it, people
write-ups. Like a lot
streamed-
of people.
yeah.
yeah, people wrote about it and streamed it.
Tyler Battle is a friend of mine, if I'm correct.
Right.
That is the same Tyler Battle. Is a friend of mine from high school that we used to play Cyberpunk together back in the day.
Wow.
So that's a
Veterans here.
throwback, Yeah. So if he's enjoying the podcast, he's a longtime veteran of the cyberpunk genre.
Yeah, Tyler Battle says, "Hey Titus."
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I wanted to mention Order a Pizza because, so thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to mention it because some people aren't really into the Patreon, model. They don't like the commitment of 1 month, month after month or something, or it's just a little too intimidating. If you're the kind of person that wants to do like a one-time donation, and maybe get something out of it, go check out Order a Pizza, our visual novel. Just type in Order a Pizza, a visual novel, and it will come up on Google or on itch.io.
If you're on itch.io and you just search pizza, it's the first result. So,
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we got the first pizza game,
Sweet.
first level S tier pizza game on
Yeah.
itch.io.
It's a weird little game. It runs on basically every computer almost because it's really low. It's not very taxing on systems, but and there's a pay what you want model for it. So
So
if
it's a
you
great
wanna
way to
give
kind of
any
help
amount
set
of
up.
money,
Yeah.
you can pay it through there, and we'll get that, and then you can play our weird game. It's short. It's maybe like an hour or half an hour, depending on how fast you read, and it's definitely a weird ride. So be warned, it's much more stressful than you might expect. I've only learned this through a live stream that we watched.
we
of someone playing it,
recently,
and the
by
person
Riot House
was
Games. Yeah.
almost broken by the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the best thing I think we've made in under a month for sure.
Yeah.
Too.
Order Pizza. So Frost Zero. I could just read this chat forever. So I will read a couple more. Things,
Yeah, and then
we'll
we
do the
could get
Q&A.
into the
Well, we'll
prepared
maybe go back and
questions
forth between doing some Q&A from
Yeah.
the chat, and we had some prepared questions
from our social. Yeah.
yeah, from our call out on social media.
Rachel, okay, so before we go into the Q&A, I'll just read a couple more. Rachel says, "I'd love to see pictures of the setup. I'm always interested when it's described on the podcast." Yeah, well, so we will do more of that, and we'll share those on Twitter.
Well, yeah, we'll try to make a little reminder for ourselves for next time that we record to take a photo of it, so you can see what it looks like.
We mean to do it, and then we
Yeah.
forget every time.
There's a lot of things to keep in our mind, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely share that with you.
Frost009 says, "Order a Pizza was actually an amazing game, and you guys should be incredibly proud of how well it turned out."
Oh, thank
Did.
you.
Thank you so
I
much
mean,
for saying that.
I'm proud,
Yeah.
I guess, but like, I never like to toot my own horn or anything, you know.
It's something we have a problem with.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
We're too humble, I guess.
And then Tyler Battle says, "A long way from playing Cyberpunk 2020 in James's basement."
Yeah, okay, it's
And
the
then,
same Tyler for sure.
And then sunglasses, smiley face.
Oh, that was fun times.
Claire's Blur says, "Pizza, pizza, pizza. Loved the game. Everyone should play."
Oh, thanks,
Thanks.
Claire. You're the best.
And then Dr. Satan RX says, "Are you guys planning on adding even more fan names for NPCs?"
Oh
Yes.
yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Absolutely.
Got a bunch in
Definitely.
the
We're
bag.
constantly doing that. I did put a few names in
Teenagers.
Teenagers
yeah.
from Outer Space, but not much because I knew that it was going to only be 2 runs,
Mm.
2 episodes. So next, but as the adventure continues, there'll be more
Yeah.
NPCs to name and everything like that.
And the main difference between that and maybe the Patreon tier one is in the Patreon tier one, you have a lot of control over what your character is going to be and look like, or some level of control. With the naming of the NPCs, you may end up being a terrible person that dies horribly or something.
Yeah.
But it's fun to have your name in the game. So as long
Yeah.
as everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, and sometimes Titus comes up with the first name and everything like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you pledge on Patreon, you'll be able to you'll have a little bit
You'll
more
have
control,
control over that,
all
yeah.
that, and
For sure.
like
But
that.
yeah, we're going to continue to put you guys in as NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Because it turns out when I come up with a name on my own, it's not great.
It's Chunk Scumper or Shane
Yeah.
Dawson, Sean Dawson, Shane
It's
Deacon.
Shane Deacon. Shane Dawson is
Shane
a
Dawson's a YouTuber. Okay.
So Rachel says, so Lindsay made this live stream background. No, that was me.
No,
actually.
that was
Oh, it's
Patrick.
Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all pretty good at drawing.
Yeah,
so.
I did
No
um
big deal.
It's no big deal.
I did the character portraits for the main characters. So DP, Sleazy, Chan, Alloy, Knight, and Barb were my drawings.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the rest are all Titus.
Okay, so let's do some questions that we got on our social medias.
Right. So we got our first one up is from Claire's Blurs, and she asked several things, but the first one was, how did you guys first meet?
Yeah.
We met
That's
in
a long
college.
story. It's been like 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
8
It's been a
years.
ride.
Quite a
Yeah.
long time. So
Yeah.
yeah, we met in college.
In
Maybe we
2012.
should talk about how we like our first impressions of each other. Or
Oh
something?
yeah, no. My first impression of Titus was, wow, what a stuffy professor type that's here to learn and business only, no friends.
Yep.
And he literally shushed someone while we were doing a life drawing class, and I was like, God. And then
Yeah, I had the same impression.
yeah, and then Patrick was just kind of like, am I here? Am I not here? Like, I remember they called out the attendance and it said Patricia, and we were confused because it was supposed to be Patrick.
I wasn't.
You
added
weren't,
to
yeah, you
attendance
weren't
for a
even
while.
added to the
'Cause I
attendance
applied late.
form. Yeah. And I remember you, like, I got my first impression of you, you always had long hair. But yeah, you had long hair and you look pretty much the same as you do now. But like more dazed because you smoked more pot back
Right.
I don't anymore.
then. No, you don't anymore,
No
but you
420
used to.
blazing for me.
No.
And yeah, and I thought you were just like a Tim Burton kind of fan, which I was so off base with
Yeah.
for some reason, or like kind of stuck up and like snooty.
The weird thing is that we did become friends in college, but we
Yeah.
didn't really become like good friends until after college. Is that,
Yeah,
is that right
yeah,
to say?
totally.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think it's actually a kind of a miracle that we even remained friends after college, because most of the people we did become friends with there kind of dropped off. Like,
Yeah,
we don't
and
talk to them
understandably,
anymore.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times something keeps you together.
Yeah,
And then when it's gone,
and when it's
over,
gone,
right?
it's over.
Yeah, we started like I think at a certain point we just started collaborating a lot together, and
After school, yeah.
and then we made a podcast that you cannot listen to anymore because the RSS feed is down. It's also
it
very
was
bad.
it was through SoundCloud, and like
It
you know
was
how
terrible.
SoundCloud put a cap on the amount you can upload to it for
But yeah.
free. So
Fun
At the
fact.
time, I was making a video game. Pat, you were making an album,
Mm-hmm.
and Lindsay, you were kind of working on sort of like
just like ideas,
yeah,
really,
ideas of something that could be an animated show or
or a
something
graphic
like that.
novel. Yeah.
A motion
Motion
comic.
comic. Yeah, I was just not really committal to anything at that point because I was so burnt out from college. I think.
Yeah, we were all pretty burnt out, and we didn't really get the experience of working together in college. It
No.
was something that didn't really start happening until we started doing this sort of lame podcast where we would just talk about whatever. And it was actually you two had that podcast, and I was just
Yeah,
a
we
guest
started
on
it. Yeah, yeah, I was always guest starring Titus.
starring
But
Titus.
by the fourth episode, you were the only constant. We're like, okay, he might as well be a permanent part of the show.
At the time, because I started it being like, well, like I don't want to make this a big deal because oftentimes with collaborators, like you'll scare them away if you try
Yeah.
to be like commit
Get all
now.
serious,
This
yeah.
is really serious, and then it will just collaboration will just like fall apart. I've had that scenario happen. I think all of us.
Yeah,
have.
I think you were kind of reticent too because you had just come out of like band of 6 years, was it, or
Yeah,
something,
something like
and
that.
went nowhere.
And so I was just like, if whoever shows up the most, they're the ones that are committed.
Yeah.
And they'll just get, if they show up, then I'll know.
And
that
I
they
had
wanna do
no
it.
choice really because we lived together at the time. So I'd just be there. Like I'd come in late sometimes because I was working that night or something.
Yeah, we'd have the podcast all set up. and
Yeah.
Lindsay
Yeah.
would just drop in. And
So that was, so then, Titus just showed up all the time. We just kept on collaborating, and here we are, basically.
Yeah.
and we've been through some weird times. Like I had my own YouTube channel for a while, and
Right.
then I was also guest starring on your YouTube channel, and then eventually we just were like, we should probably just focus our efforts on one
On
thing,
one channel,
and
yeah.
we kind of decided to play to our strengths and try to do something that was more, artistic.
Made
And
animated
we
series.
made animated series
Yeah.
and eventually decided to move to games. And this podcast thing, like, we can't stress this enough, really came from just me finding my old Cyberpunk 2020 game and just wouldn't shut up about it. And you guys wanted to play it. And then we decided the only way we're ever going to do this is if we trick ourselves into thinking that we're doing
We're
some
doing it for work.
Yeah,
Because,
sure.
we have a problem.
Yeah.
But that kind of answers the second question, which was what was the idea / choice behind starting Rocket Adrift.
Well,
So it was I think it was officially the animated series that we decided to brand ourselves Rocket Adrift.
That's not actually true because I
No?
was thinking about this the other day. What it was we were like, okay, we had two kind of things. One was called the Broadcast Guide to Life, and the other one
Right.
was called Opinionate This.
Right.
And we were going to become this new thing. And my whole thing was, we have to get the URL, right?
Yeah.
And don't look at rocketadrift.com right now because something's going wrong with the hosting. But
Oh my
all the
God,
good
yeah.
that
so
URL
That URL
like, a
did.
lot of good that URL did. But we sat there trying to jam words together until we found something that we liked that we could also buy the .com for, and that is
Rocket
the
Adrift.
true
Yeah.
kind of birth of Rocket Adrift.
That's right. That's so
It
bad.
was so lame.
Yeah.
It works though. I mean, it's
I've
it's
come
inoffensive
to love the
along.
name,
Yeah.
but at the time I remember us being like, "This is I don't want to do this for another hour, and this one's okay."
yeah.
It's the sad truth.
We did have a video chat too. We didn't even meet face to face to
No,
make that decision.
No.
It's like, what were we doing?
I don't know. I mean, we take all this stuff way more seriously now.
Yeah, we really didn't.
Well, we
before.
took it. You took steps.
Yeah,
for us
it
to
took
get here,
time.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to shout out Jillian's in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah, hey Jillian. I know things are rough with you. I feel you.
Yeah.
You
we're
know,
all going-
we're all going through the same thing right
Toronto
now.
solidarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope everything's going okay with you.
We had a really great game with Jillian just for funsies.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, last week, before all this stuff started.
And I wanted to ask a couple of these questions here.
Yeah.
So Max Fairlam asks, I might be making this up, but I noticed a sort of breath of fresh air, quote unquote, like from the switch from the animated series to the Dark Future Dice podcast. Is there a truth to that?
Yeah.
Definitely. I think so.
Yeah.
It was really grueling to make that animated series.
Yeah, it really took down our confidence for a while after.
I think the main thing behind it really was I felt like, at least in retrospect, it felt like the control was back in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when we were making animated shows, it really felt like we were beholden to the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, the whims of
And
YouTube.
The kind of platforms that we were on that are really just bad. You know, like,
Yeah, just like
even-
taking advantage of creators,
even
essentially.
Newgrounds, which was
Yeah.
a little bit better for us. It was kind of a platform full of content that we weren't a huge fan of. And,
yeah.
so
Not
it
that things that aren't really good aren't made on Newgrounds, but
No,
there
there's
is
some
kind of
good
like
stuff,
a lot
you
of
know?
stuff to get buried in or stuff
Yeah.
that you don't really want to be associated with, I guess,
yeah,
for lack
yeah.
of a better word.
So when we started making Dark Future Dice, it was kind of just like, let's take the pressure off.
Mm.
We're not gonna like try and crank this thing out so that it meets some schedule that is like impossible, which was
Yeah.
the problem with the animated series. And we were just like, let's just have fun with this. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
definitely was a breath of fresh air for us.
For
For
sure.
sure. And I think
yeah.
also finding the fun in kind of like the mistakes, whereas we may have tried to like overwrite our animated series in the past, and hopefully we're learning from those kind of things and finding the like weirdness or the awkwardness that is kind of the humor, and having the podcast kind of be a way to explore that, we kind of realized like, okay, well, this is, we should lean into this more. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and also just, I think for me, it was the pace at which we had to work in order to,
It was
to
crunch,
get it out.
like constant crunch for
And
that
you could,
series.
and I could feel the kind of quality going down, and I could see it getting away from like our vision of what we wanted it to be. And it was kind of really, hurting me
Depressing.
to see,
Yeah.
to see that. And we kind of learned from that experience to make schedules for our projects and to be really careful not to crunch the fun out of a game. And that's sort of, I guess, where a lot of people are like, maybe, do it once a week, where it's like, I'm not sure that it would be the same if
we'd feel
sort of
kind
got
of
into
rushed.
into that schedule. So I'm always trying to now make sure, and we do this as a group, that we are like staying healthy and staying excited about the project as much as we can.
Yeah, because when you're working up for basically like
Nothing.
nothing, like we need to make sure that we're enjoying it, Like, so yeah, like
And everyone says that like the fact that we have fun comes through in the podcast, and I think that that's true of like almost everything that you do in life. So it's important to make sure that you're working hard, but you're not working joylessly, I guess, which is what
Yeah.
and I'm still really proud of the first like 8 episodes that we made of that animated
Yeah, it was
series. I
just
feel
Rocket
like-
Adrift animated
Yeah.
series. It's still up if you want to watch
Yeah.
it. But
But by the end of it, I think we were all really burnt out and kind of realizing that, we weren't going to find success with this, or the kind of success or fulfillment in the way that we were looking for, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
big breath of fresh air. I know that got a little serious, but
Max Fairlam says, makes sense. Maybe the popularity of Dark Future Dice Cast highlights that if you're having fun and making the content, if you're having fun making the content, you're on the right path. And I totally think that that's a big part of why people say that to us all the time, right? And so,
There's
you want to do
a-
another question? Over
yeah, there's another question from Clurs. It goes, is there any chance that Dark Future Dice could have any animation or video game content?
we have like we have a little bit of a Easter egg that we're putting into our new game for Dark Future Dice. So in that sense, there will be a little bit of video game content.
I guess.
to,
But yeah, we're not going to produce a video game.
Yeah, I
surrounding
mean, namely
Dark Future
because
Dice.
it's difficult, because obviously we're playing a game that we don't really have the intellectual rights to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little iffy in that regard. Not that we haven't, broke those rules in the past, I guess.
Okay.
Not
yeah.
with, not with Dark Future Dice.
Not
Not
with
with
Dark
Dark Future
Future
Dice. Not with Dark Future Dice, and not with Cyberpunk. But
Our Telsorian games has been really cool for
yeah,
us.
they have
Yeah.
actually. They've been extremely cool and supportive.
Supportive. Yeah.
So, we wouldn't want to do that to to them or whatever. But
Yeah.
and as for animating, we do a lot of work for the game, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to find time for do something like that. It's
Yeah.
extremely labor intensive.
Yeah.
Animation probably takes at least triple the amount of time it would take to record and edit this podcast and then
sure.
get it
Oh,
up.
at least triple.
Yeah.
For like a 3-minute episode,
yeah.
it would take like a week to animate.
To
at
produce.
least.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes quite a bit of time to animate. Otherwise, we would love to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of right now, there's no plans. But fan animations, hey, if anyone
We're
wants to do a
welcome.
fan animation,
Yeah.
we'll share it.
Fan art,
love
fan
it.
animation, we'd
Absolutely.
love to see that. Because just like probably you guys, we would love to see some of those moments from the podcast brought to life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main sentiment behind this, thing about animating, is that you get to see those kind of hilarious moments become real. And I would love to see that.
And just Jillian is just saying, fine, just sad though. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that you're doing okay.
Disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hit us with another question? Ellie?
Sure. So the last one from Claire's, if you had to pick one style or substance, that's a hard one. I want to say substance, but I'm a sucker for aesthetics. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably style for me.
I'm gonna have to say substance because I have like this thing sometimes where I'll get like really upset at people who just like take like a hard style. And it's one of those things where I'm like, they're doing them. I know that from like a logical
God.
and like an empathetic standpoint, but like I'll see people take like a hard style thing, and I'll see like a group of them do it, and I'm just
Oh
like,
my god!
what is
yeah.
with these highlighter
And it
hats?
drives.
I don't understand.
The highlighter. It's
Doesn't-
always a
yeah.
hat. Every year, it's a new hat that bothers Patrick.
Yeah.
I'm an old person, I guess, but like I'm not even.
It's
that
like a
old, but
style of hat that is just Toronto gets taken over by, and he's
I think
just
it's
really
a
upset about it.
certain kind of jaded hipster thing that I think that I don't appreciate all the time. But I get it. You know what? Everyone has their own thing,
Yeah.
and some people go for style, and that's that. You know, that's valid. But I guess I'm a substance person. Which sounds super
Lord it
pretentious.
over
Do
all
I?
of us.
I'm
You wonder
really-
why I had that first impression of Patrick.
I wonder if I even like have to answer this question, because I feel like I just am you could just look at me, anything in my life, and just be like, yeah, this guy clearly doesn't even know what style is. This guy doesn't focus that much on that.
I think if your style were to be described, it would just be like utilitarian, just
Yeah.
like the essentials, essentially.
So yeah,
Even
but
your
I think
diet
I
is
do
like
appreciate. I appreciate. I
Utilitarian.
think when the two of them are working together, it's amazing. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely like watch a piece of media or consume a piece of media that had substance but no style, rather than a lot of style but no substance. I think, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Sure. You want to give us another question, Lindsay?
Sure. So the next question comes to us from Chicken Dynasty. Where do you?
Just one thing. If you guys are in the chat, throw out your vote for style versus substance.
Yeah,
which
sure.
what side are you guys on?
Chicken Dynasty asks, where do you get your inspiration and what do you feed your brains?
Ooh.
Inspiration, I think for me, my inspiration comes from like my own experiences and like other media that I enjoy, usually.
For sure.
It's not a very interesting answer, but like,
Kind of like thing that I guess that I'm known for in this group is loving like a really bad movie.
oh yeah. I mean,
know,
we're on board with that.
Yeah, we all maybe appreciate that, but it's a way to kind of like see a bunch of broken ideas, and then it's kind of a puzzle sometimes of like, how could this have been good? That is kind of an interesting thought experiment that sometimes leads to some really cool ideas.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like a missed potential, in a bad movie. That
Yeah.
like they had a cool idea, but they just didn't deliver on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's some movies that are like not good, but they are so good at being them.
Yeah.
And you find those sometimes by accident by searching.
Those are
for
the
some
best bad movies.
bad movies. Where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, you know what? Like, which one was it recently? Like Honey 2?
Oh my God. Honey
Honey
2. We were so excited about
really-
that movie.
Yeah.
They
It's
knew
not
what they
it's
were.
not noteworthy at all. It's just
No.
a run of the mill dance drama kind of thing starring no one of note.
It's not even good at
It's
being
not even a good
drama,
movie. Yeah.
but it does have some good dancing.
But the dancing, oh my God. We were like yelling at the screen at like 2 a.m, just so excited about the dancing in it. And that's all it takes to win us over, apparently.
But definitely, like, I think to go to add on your point, Titus, I think it's like, as a creator, it's like a good idea to try and look at all the like levels of like quality
yeah.
of stuff. And for us, I guess we do watch a lot of movies, but we also play a lot of games. But like, if watching movies that are terrible and then watching movies that are okay,
And
then
watching movies that are great. Yeah.
I think it gives you an idea of like what you can aim for, what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
and
And what's working
How to do
and
it
what
right.
isn't,
Yeah.
And also fun, like the thing about bad movies is they break rules, and sometimes they do it in a way that's like really interesting. And that could be like quite boring from. The other thing too is like, I feel like all artists have a little bit of a magpie in them, that they're stealing ideas, whether they want to admit it or not. You're like collecting these thoughts and creating something new from it. And so I think it's important, like, if everyone is inspired by like the Avengers or something, it's hard to make something that's not like, because everyone will just be like, everyone knows the Avengers, they'll just be like,
it's gonna
oh,
be derivative.
this is just
Yeah.
your derivative Avengers thing. Whereas like the kind of lesser known bad things are ripe for you to take ideas from, because no one's going to mind if you take an idea and make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as music goes, just to give you a little, like, I guess, one-to-one inspiration for Dark Future Dice, I think a lot of inspiration is definitely coming from Blade Runner, old and new. I think that's like an easy thing when I was like, how do I make the music sound in this? It's like old and new. Also, the Disaster piece is more recent influence. And then you had found a band camp like article that they had put together
Oh yeah.
a bunch of artists that made soundtracks for movies that don't exist.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
they were
and
so
a lot
cool.
of those soundtracks are very cyberpunk and kind of 80s.
Oh man, I wish I could
inspired.
remember what it was called. Some of the artists, because I would definitely shout them out, but
Yeah, I know,
I
me
can't
too.
remember. It was so long ago.
But I listened
looked
to
at
that.
that.
I think when we were just starting the podcast, and I definitely took a lot of inspiration from those people. So yeah, just a lot of synthy stuff.
Yeah, and I guess in terms of just like the cyberpunk influences, obviously the Blade Runners and Akira, both the movie
Akira,
and
yeah.
the comic book, but other ones like Battle Angel Alita were really influential when, you know, the comic version, and I saw the movie version and really liked it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
too.
really like, I guess, seminal in any sort of inspirational sense. But Valhalla that someone had mentioned is the first
Aaron
time.
B.
Yeah, it was like, it was able to see like the cyberpunk world in a new kind of way, like to see it like on a ground level of people just having drinks together, and there was kind of like an added anime wackiness to it that I think kind of really inspired maybe how we the world of the podcast. And I think like Metal Gear Solid, just in terms of weird things, you know, having like weird bad guys, and I've
Yeah.
always kind of had a more weird cyberpunk world.
Yeah.
Sorry, Clairswood is just asking to share links. Maybe I'll do that after. Actually.
Yeah.
Links
Yeah.
to what?
To music inspirations.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Let us, you know.
Yeah, we'll let you.
Unfortunately,
we'll add
Pat's
it to
trying
the
to like
comments.
read the
Trying to
chat,
do the
and
chat
Yeah.
and do that at the same
Yeah.
time. So maybe later, but
we'll definitely put all that stuff up. Maybe we'll tweet it out afterwards if that's cool.
I'm gonna
Claire's.
go through some of the people who answered style over substance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have to scroll up here. So
Oh.
Drew says definitely substance. Frost009 says definitely style.
Yeah, I
Max
can tell from the
Realm
name.
says, Sunglasses at night, baby. Style.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dr. Satan RX says style over substance is the true cyberpunk way.
Yeah,
the
I
cheat
have
is.
to.
Yeah.
I have to
Outvoted.
agree.
And
Yeah,
I'm starting to.
I
Maybe
know.
Thank
guys are
you.
winning me over. Maybe I'm down. with
Okay,
style now.
thanks for validating me, because I always feel like I'm in the minority over here
Right.
with the style stuff.
No, I think it's one of the rules of Cyberpunk 2020 is like
Yeah, style over
over
substance.
substance.
Yeah. Okay. So
So style wins.
style
We're wrong.
wins, I guess.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm okay to admit that.
And then Rachel says, I feel like I lean more towards style for similar reasons as Lindsay. I am like 3, 4, 7 stylish. Oh wait, what?
I think
I'm
that's
like
a
a-
rating.
oh,
of a-
yeah.
a verse. Yeah.
3, 4 over 7, not stylish though. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's a weird fraction.
3.4 out of 7. Is that possible?
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
total
3
sense.
point. Okay.
I'm sorry. Oh my
Apologies for
God.
I was like,
Patrick
why
over
is she,
here.
why is she sharing a fraction?
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous reading these things. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm like a 3.4 out of 7. Not stylish though. Well, you know, you might think that.
You
and
might
then
think
other
that,
people
but
might
then
be
other
like,
people might be like,
that's some fashion right
yeah.
there. Yeah, definitely. Aaron B says definitely. I am definitely a substance. I wear cargo pants for Pete's sake.
For
Yeah.
Pete's sake. Yeah.
It's really that's a hard move where you're like, I need more pockets than
I need to
most people,
literally
yeah.
carry more substance on me.
Yeah.
There's not enough.
And then, yeah. So let's see. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's all the style over substance stuff.
Definitely. It looks like
Alright.
style 1 handily.
That was a
Lindsay-
good question, Claire's Blurs. Thanks for asking. That was a.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Okay, so we have a bunch of questions from Jillian up next.
Mm-hmm.
The first being, what strategies did you have for getting new players into gaming in this specific game?
Ooh,
I guess that's aimed towards you, Titus.
that's really tough. The only strategy I had for getting you guys into Cyberpunk was just to walk you guys through the Cyberpunk character creation, and then just drop you guys into the world and
Yeah.
kind of sink or swim. You know.
You were also just you sold us on it a long time ago, like constantly talking about it while
Yeah.
we, had free time, and you'd be like, you're not going to believe this game, guys. Like,
We
you
were
think
also-
you know it, but then you play it, and it's like so weird.
I think
I
we were
think I was
also
always
just, like,
comparing it to D&D too.
Yeah,
where I'm like,
yeah.
leveling up.
Not a thing.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
How about a game where you never level up? You can die from bleeding.
You could
you
just,
get shot and
you
end up
could
in the
die from a
hospital.
car
Yeah.
accident.
Everything's way more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
it's on
were-
a D10 instead of a D20, so there's more chances to fuck up.
Yeah.
We were also like getting into like tabletop RPGs and real plays and all that kind of stuff too. So we were like kind of bugging you a little bit to play at a certain point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the strategies are, you read the rules, and I think if you're, especially if you're reffing or GMing for the first time, you're going to read the rules, and there's no way that you're going to be able to follow a game or to execute a game perfectly, and that always kind of frightened me. But I think you kind of realize there is no like perfect game. There's always something that the rules will miss, and it's okay to like kind of let the narrative drive things sometimes. And that can that can be a big step where you're kind of like especially if you have never kind of played a role-playing game before, and you come from the world of tabletop board games, and you're just like looking for like, we've got to find a rule that answers this question. A lot of times you have to kind of, it isn't fun to just stand around looking for a rule, and sometimes the answer won't be that interesting anyway. So you can, it is make believe, right? And with rules that help you the rules are there so that when something comes up and there's a question of whether a person could possibly succeed or fail, there's a way of finding an answer to that isn't just you as the referee having some kind of power over that. There's like the terrible god of the random D10 to answer that question with
That's
your
right.
your stats, right? So I guess my strategies are just get in there, and do things wrong and learn things. And
Yeah.
I was reading, I read before we started playing, I was reading the Cyberpunk 2020 book, and I found a rule that I didn't know I'd been playing Cyberpunk since I was like 16, and I discovered this one just
Amazing.
just
Yeah.
just a year ago or something.
Well, look at this
I wanted
noob
to
over here.
go back and read a question that Christian Fish had asked quite a while ago, and I'm sorry I missed this one. I meant to answer it earlier, and that is just, Pat, would you mind if I picked your brain after the TFOS, the Teachers from Outer Space episode, like I did with Titus about roughing those sessions? Yeah, I would I wouldn't mind. Absolutely not. Yeah, you can message us on Patreon, and maybe I'll give you my email or something, and we can chat about it. It was a very interesting experience for me, and my first time GMing or reffing or doing anything like that. So yeah, it'll be cool to talk to somebody about it. I've talked to Lindsay and Titus about it multiple times, and they're probably getting sick of me saying the same things over and over again. So.
Okay, so I'll read the next Jillian question. What are your future goals?
Ooh.
It's pretty pretty general.
So
I guess
are we talking about, I guess, about the podcast in this case?
yeah. If it's the podcast, then like we don't really plan that far ahead with it.
I guess the thing, my goal for it is to be like a contributor to our income. I guess that's like a
Yeah.
pretty boring goal. I guess.
I
and
know.
Pretty like just a financial
Financial
thing, but like,
oriented, yeah.
if we could get some sponsorships,
Affiliation
and,
or
you
something.
know, and the Patreon mix with the sponsorships was enough to kind of make a dent in our rent and help us
Income.
be full time. I'd just love to get to that point because I think we could put a little more effort into stuff when it comes to the podcast here and there.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with both of those, but I think also, I guess from just like a purely creative standpoint with the podcast, I'd like to, be able to maybe have more kind of do more one shots. You know what I mean? Do like smaller little stories, try out different systems while also having like a running campaign going that's more in depth and more I guess mystery related if I'm writing it because it's just I really love role playing from both sides of the table. So I think if people would, depending on what people react to, hopefully they can come to enjoy our personalities in different environments and different worlds. It'd be fun to make new characters and to play in different places while also keeping the main story that everyone likes alive.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why we did Teenagers from Outer Space, is to kind of be like, hey, well,
Yeah.
you can do this in multiple forms. I mean, remains to be seen what everyone thinks about Teenagers from Outer Space. I'm really, I
You're
guess I'm nervous
so
about it.
nervous. Just like constant.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jillian says also about Rocket Adrift in general. If you wanna talk about that, I think kind of the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like we just love making content together and like collaborating on our projects. And I guess the thing is if it was full time, I think that would be a dream come true. Really, like
I think what I
Oh,
would
yeah.
like is like I think we really found our groove with making a game.
yeah.
Like Order a Pizza was a good testing ground for that, but it also just inspired me to become a game designer. Really, we never even considered the option before Order a Pizza. Really, like while we were still doing animated series, we kind of threw out the possibility of trying to make a game together, and we were like, that's ridiculous. None of us even know programming. And then like give it a year and we're already like deep into RenPy programming or coding, and I think when we put our minds to it, we can really accomplish anything. But I'd like to just continue making games and just short-term goals, just get the game we've been working on for like the last year and a half out this year.
We want to announce,
We're gonna announce next month. I
I mean,
think.
that's the plan right now.
That's the plan.
We'll
I
see
mean,
what happens to that via the
we'll see what COVID has to say
scenario.
about it. Yeah.
But we want to announce the game. That's a goal. We want to get the game out sometime this year, maybe next. We'll see. We want that to hopefully reach its audience and people like it, and hopefully all of you like it, and keep doing this podcast and making it great and everything like that.
Yeah, I guess on a personal note, Pat and Lindsay are my best friends, and I love spending time with them. And
Audience.
but I honestly feel like we were talking about college. I feel like I was a totally different person back then, and a lot of what you guys helped make me, I think, a better person. But just on top of like loving to spend time with you guys, I also think that I do like my best work with you guys, and that this, if we could make this what we do full time by getting some money from the podcast and by selling our video games, it would be the best, least toxic work environment that I've ever had in my life, and that would be a dream come true, because I've had great friends before, but I've never had, and I've had good-ish work environments before, but I've never had the two together like this, and that's the exciting possibility for me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Same goes for us. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think I could do any of this without
Yeah.
Rocket Adrift, essentially.
There's some ahs from the
Yeah,
chat.
we got the audience
Aw,
participation.
best friends. Says Glitters Blurs. Yeah, and so we have some more questions here. Well, first of all, Drew says, I can't wait for the Teenagers from Outer Space game. It's so excited to see those roles being flipped. Yeah, they get flipped and flopped, all right.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that where I got a little bit of payback.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Which I won't. I don't want to get into, but there were a couple of things that I was able to flip around
Yeah.
on Patrick.
And then there was a couple of things where like, hey, why don't you take a walk in my shoes for a little bit here?
Yeah.
So that was good. And
We
yeah,
both gained an appreciation of each other's of what we
sure.
have to go through.
yeah, we see a couple people being excited about that. Rachel is excited, and yeah, I'm really thankful. Thank you guys for being excited about it. It was definitely a little bit stressful to go out on a limb like that and try and run my first game while being recorded, and first time playing that game as well. So
Yeah.
so then we have a question from Dr. Satan RX. Are you going to do that Netrunner game?
I think it would be interesting to try that, just because the rules for net running in Cyberpunk 2020 are kind of wacky.
I think it'd be fun to do, maybe to try it out as like a one shot or something.
Yeah,
or like,
no,
not
for
like
sure,
as like
for
a
sure,
one,
yeah.
One, like maybe during a live stream, or
I think
maybe not.
I
don't
know,
know.
but I actually think that the live stream format might really help this, so people could see the kind of like data fortress grid online, because it really is quite wacky and hard to describe. Just talking about it, you kind of have to see like what's going on in that weird. They're kind of envisioned what the internet would be like back then. Yeah, so I think we would try that as a one shot, and depending on how people react to Teenage for Outer Space, and that we are hoping to kind of bridge the gap between taking little breaks from the main campaign, or especially when we get to the end of a book or something, to do sort of fun little things like that. So that is a potential way that we could approach Cyberpunk in a different kind of way and make it interesting, and just do like one kind of Netrunner heist or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because it could almost be like it's almost in an entirely different world because of the virtual reality and everything.
Yeah, for sure. But we don't have any direct plans to do it right now.
No.
We're getting now that we've done the Teenagers from Outer Space, we're getting right back into book 2 again.
So Dr. St. Narek says net running is awful. I just think it's a fun idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a whole section of the rule book that I've never fully grasped.
So the next question, who is your dream podcast guest?
Mm.
And don't laugh at me, but I had this crazy dream one day while I was at work, and I was like, what if 6 degrees of separation and Cyberpunk 2077 blows up, and then like somehow Keanu Reeves heard our podcast and was like, he lives in Canada, he lives in Vancouver.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine if we had Keanu
Oh my
Reeves
God.
on our oh my
Yeah,
God.
I could see that.
I would be
I think I
so
would
into it.
explode.
I- yeah.
It's like the culmination of my entire life just happening.
I don't
right
think
there.
I could run that game, because I couldn't do anything bad to Keanu.
No.
Are you kidding?
I'd
Like,
be like, everybody,
It would be a
everybody
dream come
gives you
true.
hugs and kisses because you're the best.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. That
And
would
they
be
shoot
amazing.
Lindsay, and they shoot Patrick, and they shoot Lindsay, and they shoot Patrick. They try to shoot you, but they miss.
But they miss every time.
'Cause they're
I don't
dazzled
know.
by your
You're
eyes.
just, yeah.
Stars in their eyes, they can't even see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would
wanna-
be
That would
great.
be my
I wanna give a
podcast guest.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jillian and say, it would be fun to do a collaborate. We've talked about collaborating a little bit already, and we're
Yeah.
just trying to find the right way to do it. And
Right, yeah.
her podcast, Many Realms, is really fun, and so if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, for sure. And her characters are hilarious and great and super cute and funny. And I think it would make a great addition to our sort of like, especially if we were doing something like cool and light,
Yeah.
one shot kind of thing.
If you want a fun place to start on that podcast, we recently really enjoyed the Mall Kids episode. They do a one shot of the Mall Kids, and it's kind of so you don't need to know any setup or anything like that.
No,
You just
yeah.
go in. It's a real weird story, and it's really fun. So
Yeah.
We were having a great time with that.
also, we already said we're huge fans of the Adventure Zone, and
Yeah, having one of the McElroys on would
having
be
any
real
of them
cool.
would be like
I don't think I could keep up with those guys.
it would.
Yeah,
I'd
I don't
probably,
know.
I'd probably crumble there as
Yeah.
well, and just be like,
I don't
you
know.
Just,
They're
you just do your thing. It's fine.
but they also have like social anxiety,
Yeah,
don't
sure.
they?
That's true. Yeah,
So we'd
that's
just be
true.
like two sitting ducks essentially. The next question, or the last Jillian question: which NPC would you love to pilot if you could?
Ooh, I'm interested. Because you guys were almost like saying,
Yeah,
"Hey,
we should do a mini adventure.
What if we did
yeah.
a mini adventure with Sleazy Chan and
Alloy.
Alloy Knight?" And I was like, "Those are my babies. You can't, you can't be my babies."
That's true. It's true. I don't think that'd feel right.
Which NPC? I don't know.
No. I'm totally joking. I think it's not like there's a lot of deep understanding
Lore.
that you would need to be able to embody Alloy Knight.
No.
So which
yeah.
NPC would you and I play? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's
guess.
the question. If you
So-
could pilot any of the NPCs,
I think it'd be really fun to be Chip.
Really? You're kidding me. Come on.
I might just give you the keys to that because it make my life a lot easier to
Oh my
not keep track
God.
of that cyber dog.
The stupid dog.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know. I think I do love Alloy, and it would be really fun to embody him for a bit. But I also think that I don't know. Maybe Mac. Who's the? I'm forgetting.
You're
I'm forgetting the
Rushford,
names.
aka Max.
No.
No. Okay.
Who?
The detective.
Oh,
Oh,
Detective
November
Watt.
Higgins.
Oh, November
Oh my God,
Higgins.
I can't believe what's wrong with me. Yeah, November Higgins is a kind of like, she might not be like a
Big player.
wacky
yeah.
character, but I think DP is already kind of like an eccentric, so it might be fun to play like a more straight and narrow kind
Right. Yeah.
of person.
I can't decide.
You can be the mismatched cops a la 48 Hours or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Probably maybe like Ian or something. I don't know.
That would be great.
favorite.
Come on, you can't forget Ian.
No, I love Ian. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't decide. Maybe
Now that you mention it, Claire's Blurs would be a lot of fun.
Claire's Blurs.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, would be a lot of fun.
Investigative journalist.
I was thinking that, but then I was like, that's too obvious. But
okay,
maybe
too
no.
obvious.
I might actually just, Claire's Blurs. Would
I
be
like
my
Ian.
first choice.
I like Ian as an answer. He's yeah.
Yeah, and Jillian says Chip and Claire. That would be an amazing
Chip and Claire.
pairing, but it
Yeah.
would be really frustrating for you. Maybe
Oh my
to have
God.
to
GM that.
GM like the whole game with one person's just a dog that can barely talk. Yeah, and then Rachel says one entire ep that's just Titus refereeing and playing Sleazy Chan and Alloy. So you're just refereeing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just me telling you guys a story.
Yeah,
right?
essentially.
Sometimes
About
roll
these
dice.
two losers.
We're not even there. We'll just set you up with a mic at home. Yeah. So, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, there's the last one's a long one from Max. It's kind of 3 in 1, but we kind of already answered the first part. So, ever thought about going back and retroactively animating some of the scenes using the original audio, kind of like Harmon Quest? I would kill to watch the flashbang scene animated out.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
we would kill
we-
to be able
Yeah,
to see
we'd
that as
love
well.
to be
It's
able
just-
to,
yeah,
but
we talked about it.
no.
It's just so, it's a ton of work, and
Yeah.
we're just not set up for that right now.
But then the next one was interesting because not many people ask us this, but also, what do you guys do for a living? I'd like to hear your story.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I appreciate that because
It's a weird time to ask that.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
you didn't
What do
ask,
we do
you
for a
didn't ask
living?
it when it
Nothing
was a
right
weird
now.
time.
Yeah.
It would have been a real straightforward question if the world hadn't,
Exploded.
yeah.
Yeah, so I deliver food right now on a bike. It's like really kind of
Fedora.
yeah, it's a really kind of like low, I guess low commitment kind of job. So it allows
You're
me to, like,
technically not even an employee for them.
yeah, there's a
You're
whole
like-
union thing happening right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, it's like chill enough for me. Like I listen to podcasts while I do it and don't have to, put a lot of
Interact.
mental energy into it, and it allows me to kind of come home and just like work on creative stuff.
You don't. Yeah. You
Doesn't
don't have
pay great.
management. Yeah.
And there's definitely no future in it, but that's
No.
hopefully this is the future. So
Mm.
we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm a line cook, and I've been a line cook for 5 years now. And it was basically the first real paying job that I could get, and I just kind of fell into line cook, kitchen job after kitchen job for the last 5 years essentially. And it pays the bills, and I guess I'm a decent enough at it because people, recommend me, and I could still get jobs even if I have to leave or whatever, but like I said, right now I'm technically jobless because restaurants are closed. But yeah, if I could get out of the industry, I would, because it's a terrible, toxic, dangerous place that exploits its employees, essentially.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really stressful. So the sooner I can get out of there, the better, to be honest.
Yeah, and my family runs a bookstore, and I do, or I did, sort of event planning and worked at sort of book launches and book events. But currently, at our location, a WeWork opened up next door.
Oh my
and,
God, really?
As part of the deal for them opening up next door, they were going to demolish our building.
Oh
So
my God.
I told you this story.
Oh, you didn't tell me it was WeWork.
It's WeWork, yeah.
They're
so,
not going to last, though. Aren't they all closing down?
well, it's a whole thing.
What the
But anyway, so now we currently we're in the process of looking for a new location to have our bookstore when all of this mess hit. And there isn't a lot of events in the book world going on, so there isn't a lot of work. And the other thing I did during the summer was to help my other side of the family. My mother has, and her partner have a first aid on-site event thing where they go to events and provide first aid, like baseball events or martial arts tournaments or even just big parades. But then that's also kind of
Yeah,
boned.
not canceled. Yeah.
so. Currently, I'm at home.
Got a lot of free
Yeah,
time.
Guess we're gonna get the game done faster than we thought, basically.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of two family businesses that I split my time between.
Yeah, definitely weird times for us right now.
Yeah.
But, it's the podcast. I think this honestly, this has really lifted my spirits. Just doing this stream.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
my
for
God.
sure.
We were really reticent to even do it today because we were like, how like are we gonna be in the mood to like do this? But I think it was a good idea.
Yeah,
I
for
definitely
sure.
feel better
I'm feeling
having done it.
Yeah,
And I'm
energized.
Yeah.
looking forward to doing another one soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we should try to make this a more regular thing
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
It is like 9:00, which is later than we expected to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I guess we are we still planning to play the game, or do you want to wrap it up?
Well,
It's
to
up
be
you.
honest, I was a little worried about
The stream.
the sort of stream
yeah.
quality if we did throw a game on. So it would be nice to maybe just throw out a promise that we will do this again soon, and we'll try to figure it out and make this more of a celebration in the future of and play some games and stuff. But hopefully we answered your questions and you had a good time hanging out with us. We super appreciate everyone being
Yeah.
here. But
Here and
You guys are keeping us going.
For
y'all
sure.
keeping us going, and thanks again to everyone that raised their pledges on Patreon.
Yeah,
That's huge,
that
yeah.
really
we
helps.
haven't checked it again lately, but we really appreciate every one of you, and we also really appreciate every one of you that came to here and asked us questions and wanted to talk to us and all the appreciation that you showed for the podcast. It really means a lot, like, honestly. And again, like, personally, it really means a lot that people are excited about the Teenagers from Outer Space campaign. Jillian just says here, it's good to talk to people.
Yeah,
I
it
think
really
that
is.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
was just going
and
to say something.
Claire's
Yeah.
Blur says your stream is bringing up some spirits in these trying times.
Typing times.
They are typing times
Uh-huh.
too.
I'm
'Cause
sorry.
we have
yeah.
to,
Chat is
We
smaller.
do.
My eyes aren't that great.
yeah.
Yeah.
In these trying
No.
times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
You're-
sure. And
No problem.
if I could ask one more favor, if any of you haven't given us a review on the Podcatcher apps or
Apple.
iTunes
yeah.
or Apple Podcasts or whatever that's called, that super helps us out and definitely raises our spirits and makes us feel like we're going in the right direction to see that stuff come up there. So, but you guys have already done so much for us, so I feel bad for asking, but thank you so much.
Yeah. So I want to say thanks to Rachel for coming by, for
Definitely.
Claire's Blurs.
Of course, we love you,
For
Claire.
Christian Fish, for Drew. Dr. Satan RX says here, y'all almost at 300. If
No.
it's not there by Friday, I'll make it happen.
Oh,
No.
Man.
no. I mean,
Oh,
Again-
thanks, guys.
thanks
don't
so
feel pressured
much.
to
Yeah,
give
no
us-
Yeah.
pressure.
To give us money you don't have, but we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. This has been really heartwarming. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a great experience because of all of you. So, and there's a lot of people talking here.
Special
Same
thanks to
things.
Tyler Battle if you're still in there.
Mhm.
Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, thanks to my
Thanks to
brother,
Mac.
Cameron.
Yeah, and thanks to Max Fairlam. for
Oh,
coming
always,
in,
yeah.
Yeah.
Jillian for popping by, and everyone that I didn't name. I'm sorry. It's Claire's Blurs. Did I say that already?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay. So
Yeah, and thanks to all our patrons, whether you're here listening or not, or if you're seeing this later. Thanks to everybody that listens to the show and to all our fans. It's been
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride, and we really couldn't do this without you.
Yeah, we really couldn't.
So thanks so much.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing some people talking about how it's really nice to meet other fans of the show, and that is
Yes,
really
we
nice
want to
see,
provide a
you know.
space for that more.
I made a bit of a joke about Max Fairland meeting Claire's Blurs, but it is really cool to see everyone interact and meet each other. It's kind of
We want a community, you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
okay. So I think with that we'll try to we'll wrap this with this whole show up
On a
you know?
positive note. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a
Quit
really
while we're
positive-
ahead before I start crying or something.
Aw. My God, I'd pay to see you cry.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think you'd ever
Yeah.
cry.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
If you haven't noticed. Yeah.
And then it takes a downturn again.
It's the typical dunk on Titus. Yeah.
No, I don't think I was dunking. I'm just saying you're usually so stoic.
Okay, so a sufficiently awkward goodbye as we love to do.
That's on brand right there.
Yeah. See, I'm keeping us on brand.
All right. So
All
once
right.
again, thank you all for stopping by, and thank you all for all
Yeah.
your support. And we'll see you in episodes on Twitter and
And a live
If you want to
stream.
email us, there's titus@rocketadrift.com.
Yep.
You can go pop by our Patreon, and if you're over there, you can message us through that.
Don't have to be a patron for that. You can
Yeah.
just message us through there.
Anyway, yeah.
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 And look forward to Teenagers from Outer Space. We'll keep this podcast going through all this craziness, and
We will, yeah.
we'll see you all soon.
And we'll try to do this again soon because this has been phenomenal.
We
Yeah.
have to
For-
with the
for-
one shot.
Oh my God, we have to. We have to
do the one
do
shot
a game
now.
in front of you guys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are ready for it. We'll let you know when we're ready to roll
To
that
roll
out.
that
So
out.
thanks everybody.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
All right. So
Okay,
have a good one.
Have a
and,
good one.
Stay
Stay
safe.
safe.
stay safe.
And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.